The Kawasaki LTD 750 was amongst the first of the Japanese factory-built custom bikes to come into this country. And if you'd been brought up like me on a diet of 750 kettles and the like, well, it had a bit of an impact. Whether or not you liked it or cruisers was another matter. But the thing feels tiny now looking at it. It's so narrow and little and diddy. And of course, as we all know, the Japanese cruiser market has gone berserk since then. As the new boy on the programme, I thought myself very lucky indeed when Paul said, "Here Rich, take out a midweight for the day." Thought I, CBR 600, R6 maybe. No, I get this, the Yamaha Dragstar 650. The Yamaha 650 Dragstar. It's a growing class, this, cruisers from Japan. It seems that we like them quite a lot. And most of them have really butch names. There's the Drifter that we looked at the other week. There's the Marauder and even the little baby 125 Rebel. But we get this, the Dragstar, which sounds more like it has something to do with Lily Savage than any bike I know. This is the classic version of the Dragstar, so we get a few extra bits and pieces. Faired-in mudguards, these fender-style, front and rear, an extra lamp or two, and these high-weight boards as well. More of those later on. Not all good. It might be modern, but it's not exactly super sophisticated. There's a little V-twin here, and I say little 650cc, and it puts out a mighty 40 brake horsepower. My alarm clock's got more power than this bike, if I'm honest. It's shaft drive, which is nice. You're not messing about with the chain, and it doesn't go slack or need oiling either, which is good news. Braking is nothing special, single disc front and rear. And that's about it. We've got one single dial on the tank to tell us how fast we're struggling to go, and it won't be good news, and how many miles we've done, and a little tiny fuel filler. And that's it. Other than that, fairly simple layout. This one has a screen, another optional extra, and it says, quite bizarrely on the back, made in USA. About the only bit of this Harley clone that was, I suspect, made in the USA. So, 40 bhp in a bike that weighs, well, let's remind ourselves, over 230 kilos. Think that a lightweight R6 or something like that is probably 160, 170 maybe max, with 2 or even 3 times the power output, and you get an idea that this is not going to be fast. And it isn't fast, which is just as well, because those highway boards, try cornering at anything like a respectable speed, and the big, soggy, long travel suspension just compresses, and those highway pegs touch down immediately, rewarding you with a noise like no other. Stopping isn't exactly an easy process either, and certainly not accurate. It's very easy to lock up a front or rear wheel. If you've got to have more power, there is a bigger engine version available, though personally the idea terrifies me. I think 40 brake horsepower is just about enough for this entire chassis and suspension and steering setup. Perhaps the most revealing thing about the Dragstar was when I first got on it, these tiny mirrors I noticed were both angled inwards, so that all I got was a perfect view of me, which says quite a lot, I suspect, about anybody who's going to buy one of these things. But I'm not criticising, it's just a fact. Perhaps they should do a classic GX version which features little lights all the way around the mirror, just to show you in your best light. But let's not forget, to criticise this bike on its ride and handling is to miss the point entirely. It's more to do with how you look reflected in shop windows. And, well, it does a respectable job. There's no shortage of chrome to see yourself in, certainly. And it does have the right kind of laid-back cruiser look and feel. And that's the key to it. Reminding yourself all the time, don't even think of trying to push it. The best technique I've found is to just hum quietly to yourself the Steve Miller Band, the Joker, you know, dum-dum. Just do that, lean back, and that's about the right way of riding it. Of course, another important difference between sports and cruiser bikes is the price. Cruisers are not exactly expensive. You'll pay well under £5,000 for this very recent R-plate with only 9,000 miles on, and that's a pretty typical price. So one good thing, they don't necessarily break the bank.